I was wondering with Abdi, I was curious, he was a game-time decision attack, and then he's been out the last couple games. Is he still in the running to play again this season, or has something happened there?
So, first of all, it's really cool to have, senior night and have those families to be here. But also, too, we've just learned yesterday, we ended up graduating 6 guys, which is a really cool honor for our staff and for those guys to come in and get a Kansas State degree, which is an amazing thing for our players, our managers, and a couple of our GAs as well, too. And I love the fact that we were able to honor them before the game and allow them to have some kind of recognition for what they've done. It's not been what everybody's wanted to be, but they definitely represent K-State, and they definitely try, and the resiliency that they've had. With Abdi, when you come off that injury, I've had, I think 3, I believe, I shouldn't say think, I believe I had 3 guys that have been through this, and each one of them has had a different scenario. Like one of them was able to come back and get 33 his first game back at Penn State. One of them came back, and then he kind of got a little bit whacked out a little bit at Wyoming, and it didn't go quite as well for him. And then it took him a little bit longer to get in it. So there's always some kind of, you have to do this, then you have to do this, and you have to cut, and then you have to land, and then you have to make. So all the competition we're doing with them, the 2-on-2 and the 3-on-3 and the 1-on-1, it just depends on how it feels, and it takes time to warm it up, and then it takes time to cool it down, and then the next day, the feel for the foot and the soreness that goes along with it. I mean, he loves the game. He loves to play. Obviously, 44% from 3, we'd love to have him. But it's going to be a game time decision until it's not.
Understood. And you guys were right with them until about the last 4 minutes. What transpired there?
So, do you have a record player?
When I was
little kid?
young, yeah.
Okay. Do you ever see the 33-inch vinyls? Right? You ever have one that had a bad scratch on it? That's what we have. We put it on the record player, and it plays and plays and plays and plays and plays, and then it hits that scratch, and it just does this. We get there, and then for whatever reason, we just can't break through. And Baylor was start to finish. And when Baylor made the run to 8 or 9, we were able to get it back to 18, right? But in this case, we were trying to fight back. We cut it to 1, we cut it to 2, and then they hit 5 in a row, and then we took a timeout, and then we cut it to 1. And we 28 points off our turnovers. 12 steals. Like, you can't guard a live ball. It's impossible. And so that's the most disappointing part. The fact that we have such good guards, yet it seems like we either over dribble or we get into too deep. And the red zone in football, the reason why it's so hard to score is because the angles are so much tighter. Well, that's the same way in basketball. It's a red zone between the women's hash and the second hash. That's a red zone. And in that red zone, everything's tighter, everything's more compact. And I thought we had at least 5 that we lost in there alone. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't there 2 in the second half that we got the rebound and they took it off us? I think. And I think they scored them. And so those are the things where we have to shore that up. I felt very, very confident coming into the game. I felt great. It was a double-edged sword in the sense that, we played well at home against Baylor, so now we get a chance to stack it, and then we get a chance to knock them out of the NCAA tournament and put a bad loss on the resume. And so that was something that we talked about, and, kind of give you some kind of encouragement or motivation to go out and play. That it's not just another game. Like, there's some things that we can start doing here. And when it was a 1-point game, I was like, man, we're gonna turn this corner. We're gonna turn this corner. The difference between being comfortable and uncomfortable is breaking through the wall. And it just seems like we just keep getting close and close and close, and we just can't break through that wall.
You mentioned the 18 turnovers. Just what you see, what TCU do so well that hurt you guys tonight?
I thought we over-dribbled, which it led to them what we call raking, going in with 2 hands like you're raking leaves. And I thought we over-dribbled to their rakes when we had a whole lot of sprays. We call them sprays, and we got a lot of them. I mean, we sprayed a lot and got threes, and we didn't make them all. but we got good looks from them. I just thought we over-dribbled without watching the film. That comes to mind. We tried to feed Kamari 2 or 3 times, and we turned it over trying to feed him. The one time it went over his head, the other time went through his hands. And so, those turnovers I don't mind because you're trying to get your teammate a shot at that point. It's the ones that you get stripped from. Those are the ones that are a little bit baffling to me, especially with the way we teach offense and the way in which we need to play offense. So that's what I saw.
Just talking to the guys right here, just was asking them about the joy that they've been able to find throughout a difficult season. Where have you seen that in them? Just how they've gone about being together and everything for that within the team.
As a father of 2 boys, one of the greatest things that you can ever see is that your children don't quit. If your children quit at whatever, it's just really, really difficult to find joy. These guys, they haven't quit. They haven't quit in school. They haven't quit in competing. They haven't quit. We just haven't completed the deal. There's a difference between the two. We didn't change. We just are a little bit different. And there's a difference between the two. And that's the joy that I see in them, that they haven't quit, that they still want to compete and they still want to go out there and win. And so, to me, that's really, really important. And it shows their resiliency.
Could you envision getting Buka back before the end of the season too?
So the good news is, can you pull your shoes back a little bit? Yep. So the good news is he's got 2 shoes that look the same.
Okay.
So he doesn't have that boot on anymore. So now he's got 2 shoes that look the same. So you have to go from the boot to 2 shoes that look the same to now being able to change direction and do different things like that. So he's close. I've seen him, doing some different things. So he's close. Could it be, close enough by Tuesday? I don't know. Is Saturday more realistic? Probably. But I wouldn't be shocked. You guys don't notice, but he ripped his wheel really bad in the fall, and he was back in like 3 days. And so pretty resilient for a 7'2" kid, but also too, he's probably ripped it so much that his ligaments are probably so stretched out that he has the ability to recover quicker. But he's got two shoes that match, so that's a good thing.
So wondering where you're going with that. Shoot, I had a question, but lost it there. Okay, yeah, I got it back. All right, you mentioned throwing motivation to your team. We could knock them out of the NCAA tournament, stuff like that. Are you always just looking for little things like that at this point in the season
100%.
to use as motivation?
I've always been that guy to try to figure out, how can we put a little bit more into it instead of it just being a game. West Virginia won today. I know they're on the outside looking in at some point, but if they get a streak going at the end of the season, win a couple in the tournament, NC State was like 19-11, I think, when they went to the tournament, and then they won their tournament out. And so at Baylor in 2009, we went win, beat Texas, beat Kansas, first time ever, beat Texas, beat Kansas, and then play Missouri in the championship. So it can happen. It can happen. And so, yes, I'm always trying to find something to give them some encouragement, to give them some hope, because hope never disappoints. It never disappoints. Frustrates.
Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate it. Thank you.